What's up, everybody? Can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me fine? We just made it back to the Airbnb from Allegiant Stadium where LSU lose a fifth straight opener. Out-physicaled, out-muscled by USC. We said it. Out-coached by USC. USC's offense showed up tonight. Miller Moss showed up tonight. They made explosive plays. Our defense could not. Our passing defense had no answer for. LSU lose 27-20. It was close, but it should not have been. LSU had chance after chance, drive after drive to finish this game at 17-13. But because of 10 penalties, egregiously stupid penalties, 2 false starts on Will Campbell, which really isn't Will Campbell's fault, but more Nuss and Will not being on the same page. And then DJ Chester with a false start. You know, these things killed drives before they even began. Special teams errors on the return game. Terrible. If it weren't for Aaron Burrell making a tackle, that guy's gone. I mean, it really wasn't the defense screwing it up for LSU, though. My biggest issue is with the wasteful drives from this offense. I wouldn't say that this loss is on Joe Sloan. I would say this loss is definitely on the offense, though. The play calling has to. Sorry about that. We've had some in and outs. Hopefully that will be the last one. Guys, gals, everyone, fill up the comments section. I want to know what the hell you think about this loss and where LSU goes from here. We saw in the aftermath of this game Brian Kelly pounding the table, pounding the podium at the press conference in anger. And he looked tired. Brian Kelly looked sick. He looked tired. He didn't just look angry. He looked exhausted. Brian Kelly looked exhausted, y'all. And I'm not going to be sitting here defending him because this is 3 opening week losses. I don't think this can be overlooked or combed over. This is bad. And I understand new staff, new play caller, new quarterback. It doesn't matter. The ingredients are there to beat USC. And the fact that we literally just witnessed USC, their defensive line, win that fist fight against Will Campbell and that offensive line, that should hurt. That should hurt LSU's offensive linemen, who pride themselves on being more physical. They didn't get the push they needed. John Emery Jr. got the push they needed. John Emery Jr. was the guiding light for LSU's rushing game tonight. Started to really take that game over in the third quarter, and we went away from him, went right back to Josh Williams, and the drive stalled. I don't understand when you have a hot hand that no one can stop, whether that's Kyron Lacy or whether that's John Emery Jr., why you're going to anyone else. I understand you have a lot of weapons, and I understand that there's a lot of mouths to feed. Not when you're winning the fucking game. You keep feeding them until they stop them. If guys having success against you, stop him. Prove to me you can stop him. And then once you stop, okay, then we can, put in other guys. We can have other guys. They could not stop Kyron Lacy, and then we went away from him. He had almost 100 yards in that first half, and then 0 in that second half. Let's look right here. Kyron Lacy, 7 catches, 94. Okay. When was Lacy's last reception? Lacy at the second quarter touchdown. That was absolutely beautiful. Most of his catches went for first downs. He had an incomplete target in the fourth quarter, an incomplete target in the third quarter. Kyron Lacy did not make a single catch in the second half. $94 yards, 7 catches, 0 in the second half. Unbelievable. How did we go away from him that much? How is this possible? Honestly, how is that possible to go away from him like that? I don't completely blame this guy, that guy, this guy. Everyone is to blame for this loss. Everyone. The special teams were terrible. Major Burns with these stupid penalties, ripping people's helmets off, doing all this stupid shit. I got to be honest with you. Major Burns is a discipline problem. Major Burns does not balance the defense. Major Burns is a liability in coverage, as you saw tonight. And you know what? So is Jordan Gilbert. I cannot understand why USC did not stop running those in post routes right past him, because it was automatic. Literally, boop, goop, right at that little crease where the corner, you got the safety up here, you got the corner out here. You do that little post in shallow to the safety. The safety's never going to be able to get there, especially when it's Jordan Gilbert and how he played tonight. He had so many busts, at least 3, maybe 4 busts. Major Burns had a big bust. Ashton Stamps, who played a pretty damn good game, broke up a pass that should have been a touchdown with an amazing recovery, punching the ball out. He got burned for a touchdown that was a big score in the game. Nuss started this game on fire. Completes his first 6 passes. At half, he was 20-24 for 191, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, 83% completion. There were some big drops. Mason Taylor had a big drop, 1st and 10, when it was going to be about a 30, 35-yard gain, and he may have still been running after he made that catch, and he dropped it. USC score, running it in after a pass interference call on Sage Ryan that I felt, both of them were kind of grabbing each other. And I'm thinking, this is a no call, but this refereeing crew absolutely attacked LSU. Any mistake, any little error, Nuss doing a clap cadence, they call it delay. Like, they called everything on LSU, and some of them were justifiable. Some of them were insane. Some of the calls and decisions from this refereeing crew were absolutely scandalous. That said, that is far from the reason LSU lost this game, and we all know it. LSU went out there and got their asses kicked and burned by USC. The intermediary passing game was destroying our guys. We've seen it all fall camp. We've heard a lot about this guy, and this guy looks good fall camp. This guy, a lot of massaging and a lot of ass kissing from some of the guys who were there at these practices. Okay. There's also a lot of burnt. A lot of times our receivers just burnt guys too. And we thought, oh, well, that's just LSU receivers being good, right? Our pass defense is still bad. Our defense showed a lot more signs of improvement. This is literally almost a 180 defense. Like, we played so much better, right, than 2023. But our offense was going to regress, but regress to the point where we scored 20 points against USC. Can't happen. Cannot happen. Unacceptable. Inexcusable. And Brian Kelly was I pounded the table and it literally froze the camera, froze the computer. Oh my shit. Sorry guys. USC's defense absolutely came to play. There was no sustained push from that offensive line. There's just so many momentum killing, just RPO dive, misread runs right up the gut in the shotgun, which are so easy to read as a defensive line, as linebackers. And I know it's a difficult thing to learn, the RPO, when to pull, when to give it to the guy, when to take it for yourself, all these options. And you've got to read it well. You've got to understand everything. Like Nuss, that was one thing he did not do well tonight. He gave the ball to running back at times where he should have been keeping that for himself and throwing it down the field. Some of the decisions he made in the RPOs weren't maybe not what Joe Sloan drew up. That's a lot of the things that we can't tell is like Joe Sloan's calling all these runs up the middle. Maybe half of them were actually plays where Nuss was supposed to not give that and maybe throw that. But that's the thing, is it's up to the quarterback in that moment to make that judgment and make that decision and make the right one. And Nuss had a great night, but he did not make the right RPO decisions with some of these running plays, just right up the middle. Regardless, they're not the right plays that should be called in that moment anyway. We were killing them throwing the football early. They could not hang with Kyron Lacy. They could not hang with Mason Taylor. And we were working the edges and the outside way too much. When we started throwing it over the middle, big plays were had all over the place. And we just kept working the edges, keep doing these little outs, these little hitches, but everything to the sides, everything to the edges. We literally made USC defend like 5 yards of grass. And then here's another 5 yards of grass because we're only going to run it right through our guards or our center. When I put it to you this way, where is the best way for LSU to run the football? Behind, DJ Chester and Miles Frazier, who's banged up, or behind Emory Jones or Will Campbell on the edges, off tackle? I didn't see like one off tackle run. And when I saw any outside pitches, anything outside, it went for at least 4 yards. It went for at least 5 yards. The one thing I also must say is Caleb Jackson did not show the physicality or the impetus we were hoping to see. He had 1 or 2 really good runs. That was it. John Emery Jr. took the mantle tonight and said, let's go win this game. And he was close to wearing down USC's offensive line, and then we took him out of the game. We took the one guy they could not stop, the one guy they could not deal with, and we took him out of the game. And the fact that we threw 2 targets to Kyron Lacy and he had 0 catches, 0 yards in the entire second half is just unacceptable to me. You have a guy who had a 100-yard half, basically, 6 yards short of a 100-yard half, and you don't keep feeding him. What the fuck is wrong with you? A lot of people paid a lot of money and dealt with a lot of bullshit to get here to see their Tigers. And they get treated with that. That's what we get. I mean, this whole thing was Christmas to me until the game. Until the game was so fun to be at and so fun to watch and so fun to be there. But seeing LSU lose like this is not fun. And every single media member that I was around, it was almost like they said, this is deja vu, but this is even more different because the games in the past, there was very clearly this went wrong. This side of the field was wrong. This side of this coaching mistake caused this game. This player didn't play well. There were some clear things that were easy to analyze and easy to point at. There's a lot of issues here, and a lot of them are these are things that were supposed to be fixed through the preseason. Not only that, but these are some of these things LSU should have evolved from already a long time ago. And the number one thing that really gets to me that I think we might have to really deal with right now, and I'm going to issue a challenge to a lot of these players that I talk to, players that know me and I know them. And I'm going to issue a challenge to you straight up. And I'm going to, because I just told you I was going to do this. So I know there's a lot of players watching, if there are any. And if they're not watching right now, they will be at some point. Is this 2021, 2022 era of veteran leadership at LSU? What are you guys made of? Are you guys made of the right minerals? Because the only one I saw tonight play worth a damn was Savion Jones from that class. Nussmeier had a good showing as well at quarterback, except for in some critical plays where the offensive line completely let in the defensive lineman to attack him and busted some third downs and killed some drives, especially early when we should have taken that field goal. Instead, we go for it on 4th and 3, and DJ Chester misses an assignment. The guy comes in and Nuss is just, the play is done before it even begins. Point is, I look at some of the veterans on this team, the guys who are maybe unproven, or maybe they think they're proven, or maybe they think they've done this or that, or maybe they think they're, big man on campus, LSU Tiger, because they've been there for a while. You haven't done shit. You haven't won a championship. You haven't taken LSU to a championship. You've won some double-digit season games, But you are too comfortable losing in an embarrassing fashion. You are too comfortable giving away games like this. You are too comfortable allowing 15, 20-yard catches right in front of you. You are too comfortable missing tackle after tackle after tackle. I'm just going to say right now, Harold Perkins, we all love Harold Perkins. He was just given the number 7, and he missed at least 7 tackles. And he was not the problem. He was not the reason we lost tonight. No way. But even Harold Perkins didn't play well. Okay? Yeah, he had a few stats. He had a forced fumble. He did this, okay. It wasn't enough. Greg Penn III was picked on in coverage. They would, draw him into covering the flat and then throw it right at the dude right behind him. And it's like they would get these linebackers isolated and lost in coverage. And I've been telling you this the entire offseason. Greg Penn III cannot cover. Okay? And neither can Major Burns. What did you see tonight? What did you see from Lincoln Riley tonight that I told you he was going to do? I fucking told you every time, and everyone said, oh, who cares? It's just Major Burns. He'll be fine. It's Major Burns. He did this. It's Major Burns. Major Burns. I fucking told you the guy who allowed 6 touchdown catches last year was going to do it again, and it doesn't matter if he's at the star position. Because on paper, you go, oh, we can move him up to the line of scrimmage. That's on fucking seriously, that was on fucking paper. On paper. On paper. Let's just, oh, it'll be fine because it's Major Burns and he'll be great. And Major Burns, put him at the star. Lon, you don't know what you're talking about, putting Harold Perkins at star. That's insane. If we had Harold Perkins at star tonight and Whit Weeks on the field with Greg Penn III, half of those busts would not have happened. You know why? Because we would have at least had the speed on the field to stop some guys at 5 or 10 yards after the catch instead of 20, 25 yards after the catch. You know what I'm saying? So when people wanted to rip on me for saying putting Harold Perkins at star, look what happened tonight with Major Burns at star. It doesn't work. So if you want to put Kylan Jackson there, if you want to put Deshaun Spears, I don't care. But it should not and cannot be Major Burns. Is that clear enough for people? Because it should be.
Jordan Gilbert, Major Burns, both were awful at the safety position tonight. They were both truly awful. Sage Ryan, my guy. I love Sage Ryan. He's a great kid. He's a great person. He allowed some big plays tonight. And there's no getting around that. As much as I love to stick up for my guys, I'm never going to lie to my audience. I'm never going to lie to my audience and say, that didn't happen. It's all good. No. Sage Ryan made some bad plays tonight. He had one of his worst games I've ever seen. And he was not alone. I hope he doesn't take that personally. I'm doing my job. And it's true. Major Burns cannot be a starter for this defense. Sage Ryan should be moved to free safety. Kylan Jackson, strong safety. Okay. You put Harold Perkins at star. You put Whit Weeks and Greg Penn III both on the field at the same time to balance each other out. You don't have too much. Major Burns is also slow as well in coverage and slow to the line of scrimmage as we found tonight. It was nowhere close. Nowhere close. What are you all thinking about? There's almost 400 of you watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I know it's got to be infuriating. I know probably a lot of you are driving back, getting on a flight, maybe going to sleep right now, but there's a lot of you watching. I want to know what the hell you're thinking about right now. Deshaun Womack had a great play where he comes in there and bats the ball up, and Whit Weeks almost picks it off. And then he's back on the bench again. JVR Suggs had a good pass breakup at the line. Only 2 tackles, barely played. Braden Swinson, though, only 2 tackles. 0 TFLs, 0 sacks, hardly any impact. Very shocking. Greg Penn III had a forced fumble. He had a TFL, just 3 tackles. Gio Paez, I thought it was okay. 4 tackles, had a TFL. Still, he let way too much running right through him. Jordan Allen had some moments, but then got burnt on some as well. Whit Weeks was pretty good. Missed a few up the gap, but 6 tackles, 1.5 TFLs. Savion Jones was by far the defensive MVP. 5 tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks, a batted pass that his batted pass almost turned into a pick. It was Deshaun Womack's batted pass almost turned into a Savion Jones interception. And then he also had a forced fumble. So Savion Jones, hell of a game. Harold Perkins may have led the team with 8 tackles, but he probably leads the team with missed tackles as well. I saw a lot of misses from Harold Perkins, which is just, it's unacceptable at this point from him. You're wearing number 7. Still, this is a long season. It is a long season. If LSU shit their pants right here and just cave in on themselves, that would be a damn shame, because there is a chance here to turn this around. They do have the team here to turn this around, to get this figured out. They've got the staff to get it figured out. Whereas last year, we knew they didn't on defense, at least. We knew they didn't. Okay? Offensively, defensively, they have the staff to figure this out, to turn this around. Will they? Can they? Can they this season with these players? Or is it really going to be up to that 2024 class, 2025 class to really come into their own and take this program to the next level, because the 2021 guys, 2022 guys, they've had chances. They've had moments. They're going into their junior year now, going into their senior year, their redshirt junior, redshirt senior, and it's not happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. Unbelievable. And to think I haven't had a cigarette yet. I'm about to have my first smoke of the day. Care to join me? Well, guys, I did not think I would be doing this. I thought I'd be doing a post-game show where you guys are just hopping in here and just like, long, let's go on, man. What's going on? We're going to win this shit. Yeah, man, we're going to win this every game this season. Yeah, let's go, bro. And everyone's going to be absolutely litty. Everyone's going to be hopping and jiving and having a good time. And instead, no one wants to say a fucking word. Everyone's just hiding. No one's commenting shit. It's just me ranting to the world. Kind of funny, but I kind of want you guys to say something. Comment something. There's literally over 700 of you watching from YouTube, Twitter, and LSUODYSSEY.com all combined. There's over 704 of you guys watching. One of our biggest audiences in the last little bit. Shit, dropped my lighter. We had a really fun time meeting some really cool people. We met Jacob Hester. We've been talking to Hess for years. I mean, I remember when Corey Kiner, back in 2022 or 2021, before he transferred, this was like this was about like 8 or 9 months before he eventually transferred. But I remember his mom was telling me he's homesick, he's crying, he won't stop crying. What the hell can I do? Lon, are you there? Can you get to Corey and talk to him? And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm not in Baton Rouge, but I know someone who will, and someone who can, and who will drop everything and make sure to go talk to him. Who do you think I hit up? I hit up Jacob Hester, and I said, bro, I just had his mom talk to me. He's thinking of transferring. He's homesick. He needs someone to talk to. Can you do this, please? And Hess, it was a Saturday in the summer, and Hess was like, I got you. I'm going there now. And Hess talked to him, and Hess got him to stay for almost another year. Corey kind of had a great season that year after Hess got him to stay. Point is, like much of you, I grew up watching Jacob Hester, making Tebow cry and getting all those first downs, those fourth and 3, 4th and 1, all these crazy conversions, scoring the touchdown, getting a 100-yard game against Ohio State in the title game in the Superdome, all of it. And it's just cool to be talking to Hester like a colleague now, Jacob and T-Bob have done so much for LSUODYSSEY.com. It's been at least probably 10, maybe 11 times they have credited us on Off the Bench, which is a big show, ESPN radio. I don't take any of this shit lightly or for granted. And the way that T-Bob and Jacob have championed our stuff and really given us credit for stuff that they didn't have to, that a lot of other people don't. They think, we don't have to give credit to that dude, he's an idiot, but we'll use his story because hard work and it looks good and that was a great story, but we can't even admit that he beat us to that story. Just steal it. Act like he didn't exist. Those guys changed that for me. They validated me at a time when I didn't feel too good about myself because you're working this hard, you're breaking all this news, you're doing all this stuff, and no one knows. Nobody knows. Even the fans that support you, that subscribe to you, that see that you were the one who broke it, are liking the other people who are stealing your news and stuff more than they like what you actually put out there. So it's like it is so hard for you guys to understand who aren't in the media. But imagine building something like a chair. Takes you a long time to build this chair, and then someone comes over and takes an axe to it about 8 or 9 times a day. And then you have to keep rebuilding this chair, and someone takes another axe to that's almost like what it felt like. But people like Jacob and T-Bob changed the game for LSUODYSSEY.com by giving us a type of validation that made people feel more comfortable with liking us and watching us and felt, okay, maybe he is legit. And once people gave us a chance, they realized very quickly that we are. And that we do what we do, and we love doing what we do. And tonight was a career night because we got to do something we never been able to do before. But man, what a sour taste in the mouth on a career night, you know? It was pretty incredible being there at the press box. It was incredible to see the game with the angle we did. But I tell you what, from the angle that I had, you could see who was at fault, why it happened, and how. We had the best angle of anybody in the house for why LSU lost this game. We had the all 22 view. If you've seen our Twitter, any of our Twitter footage tonight, you'll see the angle we had. I don't know what the stats will say. Jordan Gilbert, for being an SEC starter, a veteran starter already. Well, I shouldn't say veteran. He's only had 1 year starting in the SEC. He gave up so many passing plays. Same with Major Burns, right through the alley. And then we let USC start to run the ball on us. USC had 7 yards rushing going into, I believe, the third quarter or something like that. And then they started gashing us. They started just Miller Moss cooked us throwing the ball. He cooked us. He cooked our DBs. He crucified our DBs throwing the football. Our safeties, our linebackers, all of them. Just cooked them, twisted them, turned them inside out. And here's the sad part. We actually owned time of possession for most of the game. I don't know what it was in the end. But you could feel it, and I could feel it too. Our offense did well with possessing the ball and keeping the defense off the field. But to make it all worth it, you have to punch the damn thing into the end zone. And really, that's what this all comes down to. This game all comes down to failures in the red zone. And we actually were able to talk to Joe Sloan after the game, believe it or not. We can prove this with photos. We spoke to Joe, who's a friend of ours. We spoke to Coach Sloan after the game. And I said, man, the fans, they're going to be killing you guys, but hey, it's a long season. Figure it out, you know. You guys showed some stuff on offense that looked really good. You showed some good signs, and we said at the same time, Joe and I said we couldn't punch it in the end zone. Like Joe, don't get on Joe Sloan. I'm telling you guys, Joe Sloan's the right guy for this job. It just didn't work out that well for him tonight. But he knows exactly what went wrong and how it went wrong, and I know he's going to figure this shit out because it's Joe Sloan. We kept him for a reason. I believe in Joe Sloan. I have confidence in Joe Sloan. And I have confidence in Blake Baker. We knew the defense wasn't going to have it figured out. We knew there was going to be busts like this tonight. I predicted USC to score 28 points tonight. They scored 27. LSU clearly needed to score 30 points to win this fucking game, and they couldn't. They didn't. They score 30 points, we win the game. red zone efficiency cost us this game. Not kicking a field goal on the first drive when you take 7 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. You got to get something. You got to get something on the board. I love being aggressive. I love aggressive coaches. I love keeping that pedal down and being balls to the wall, right? But it's about doing it in a calculated manner. And that was the moment LSU needed to kick a field goal and take points. Going for it on those first drives, being overly aggressive, taking the ball, receiving the kickoff, and then getting nothing from that first drive has cost LSU dearly in these openers. One opener after another, I swear to God, we do this. We receive the opening kickoff, and then we are over-aggressive and go for it on fourth, get nothing, and then they go and they score on us, and we've basically given them 2 possessions in a way. You know, it's a game of possessions. It's a game of drives, and it's making them count. LSU pissed away drives. LSU pissed away possessions. And we had so much time of possession. I don't know how we did this. This game is confounding because LSU ghosted through about half of this game. It was very strange to watch. You felt LSU's presence at times, but then there was other times you just felt like they weren't out there. I don't know how to explain it. You felt like, ooh, okay, yeah. And then that second half, LSU gets it going in that third quarter, gets it going with the running game, completely fell off the map in the second half of that third and the rest of that fourth quarter. I don't even know what to think. I have confidence that the coaches can figure this out, but losing a game already to USC like this, we talked about what it would mean. We talked about what a loss tonight would mean. We knew it would be catastrophic. We knew it would be toxic, the reaction. We knew it would be intense. And here it is. The fans are pissed, and they have every right to be. They traveled across the country from one very hot place to another, and the altitude and all the stuff out here that I am used to and fine with is affecting a lot of people who came over here, and it's affecting guys on the team. I think you saw a lot of huffing and puffing. I think the altitude completely played a factor tonight in this game. I think the desert heat played a factor in this game. This team did not look physically up for it, just as much as they mentally weren't up for it by that second half. And Brian Kelly said it in the post-game press conference where he was very impassioned, very pissed off, and looked just exhausted as hell. He said these goddamn defensive, and offensive personal fouls just killed us. And as he said, directly led to touchdowns. Directly led to touchdowns. What do you guys all think? I'm going to turn it over to you now. I've said my piece, well, part of it. And now I will wait patiently for you guys to say your piece, because there's a ton of you watching, but no one's commenting, which I think says it all. And I appreciate you guys for watching our post game when there are a lot of others you could be watching instead, but you're watching us. And we want you to be, speak your truth, speak your anger, speak your defiance. It's just unbelievable that we are at this place again where this has happened again. It's tough to know what to. Oh shit, we clicked on the live from the press box thing that we were going to do. Live post game show. There we go. I'm just blown away that we're here at this point again. LSU now face a very daunting, intense schedule. LSU will regroup with Nichols, but guys, it's just so bad. Yeah, I don't know why it won't let you embed the video if it's the live link. It has to be the youtube.com/watch. And so it won't let me embed it for some stupid fucking reason. But we just replaced the link on the post-game show. I don't know why we clicked the other thing for the setup. We do that sometimes stupidly. Sorry about that. Wow. Gut-wrenching defeat. And, Kelly did not look okay. Kelly looked a little run down. A lot of the guys did. And there was a lot of there was a lot of guys who didn't seem My man Josh Guillory just posted something that was very interesting. He says, "One thing I do know is every DC on our schedule is watching tonight and will dissect what caused the change in quarterback play/play calling in the second half. They will use that against us to keep Nuss from throwing the ball downfield. Just hope we fix it, and I don't give a shit about next game. We won't know until we play somebody." Yeah, I mean, we can flex our muscles against nickels. It won't mean a damn thing. And I think that's the problem is we have these games that paper over the cracks, add some flex to things, but how we lost this game to USC, to that USC team as well. Sure, they're better than we thought. Okay, you could maybe say that. I feel like LSU really grossly let them off the hook tonight. I mean, imagine if Jaden Daniels was the quarterback tonight with those drives and those opportunities. LSU scored 40 points tonight. I'm not saying that, you know, oh, Nuss, you got to be to Jaden's level, and you're not to Jaden's level. Oh, you suck. No. Nuss is good enough, and he played good enough to deliver a victory tonight. Not in the red zone. Not in the red zone. Everything was in command. Everything was in rhythm. And then when we got in the red zone, everything went to shit. I don't get it. Especially when Kyron Lacey, and especially when Mason Taylor as well, Aaron Anderson, they couldn't really stop them over the middle. And yet we kept throwing these little out routes where Nuss can make the throws, but the guys are having to make these crazy catches right next to the out of bounds line, and they've got like an inch of space to turn upfield. And the defenders are able to use the out of bounds line as an extra defender and just end the play after 2 or 3 yards. Too many of these play calls instead of throwing it over the middle. Ashton Stamps made some great plays, but then man, that touchdown he gave up was so critical. It was so huge. Something that really makes me sad about this game is there's so many opportunities to finish this thing off, and it wouldn't have been the prettiest victory, but it would have been what we kind of expected, was LSU just to finish the job, take control here, finish this thing, you know? Let's look at how many drives LSU wasted. Okay. LSU had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 drives. Okay. 10 drives. It went turnover on downs, punt, scoring the Lacey touchdown, field goal, punt, Aaron Anderson touchdown, punt, field goal, interception. So we scored a touchdown. We scored 10 points in the entire second half, 10 points in the first half. A touchdown and a field goal in the first half, and a touchdown and a field goal in the second. Four of these drives went for over 60 yards. 6 of these drives went for over 7 plays. And time of possession, 7:09 in that first drive, 13 plays, 74 yards. Masterful first drive. But after that, it was 4:40, 8 plays for 31 yards, 9 for 75, 356 with that Lacey touchdown. Looked good there. And then 8 for 47, 3 plays for 9 yards, punt, 7 for 78. That was the Aaron Anderson touchdown. Looked good there. 3 minutes there for that drive, 3:25. 5 plays, only 23 yards, punt. 3 plays, -7 yards. At 8:38 left in the fourth, punt. And then that field goal, that drive where we had to settle for a field goal in the fourth quarter instead of scoring 7, was big. It was big. And we screwed it up again, right in the red zone. Neither team had points off turnovers. We had 2 3 and outs. USC had 2 3 and outs themselves. We had 3 70-plus yard drives. USC had 2. We had almost a minute more average time of possession. They just had 3 yards better average starting position. They had some big returns. Missed a field goal, turnover on downs. Hold them to a field goal twice. So LSU's defense get a stop on the LSU 5-yard line, hold them to a field goal. Okay, that was when we were already allowed a touchdown. Hold them to a field goal attempt on the LSU 12. Okay, hold them to a field goal on the LSU 18. Turnover on downs at the LSU 36. LSU's defense did enough to win this game. But as Brian Kelly said in the post-game press conference, there was not enough complementary team play. Defense does its job. Here comes the offense. Offense does its job. Kickoff. The guy almost runs it back for a touchdown, unless it's for a freshman kicker making the stop. One thing I like to see though from this staff, they had no problem pulling certain players out of the game. I know that maybe certain guys weren't pulled that you think should have been. But it is a whole different world in comparison to last year, where they just would not pull guys out of games, no matter what. Andre Sam, Major Burns were at safety, no matter what they did. And no matter what they did at corner, this guy and this guy would always be in there. You saw Sage Ryan get pulled out for PJ Woodland. You saw shuffling at safety with Kylan Jackson coming in there. It's Austin Osbury got in the game, but Deshaun Spears didn't. I think that's a problem. We needed Spears' length in coverage back there. JVR Suggs was getting some push up front. He didn't play enough. Deshaun Womack didn't play enough. Braden Swinson, really wished I could have met his parents tonight. It was really difficult to meet anybody because it just seemed like any of the families, because it seemed like they were stuck in one place and waiting to get in there, and then media people, we were stuck in another place and waiting to get in there and stuff. So sucks we couldn't meet everybody like that when we wanted to. Let's look at the team stats overall. LSU allowed 447 total yards to 421. We were outgained. Allow 378 through the air. LSU 5 of 13 on third down. LSU allows 7.5 yards per play, 14 yards per completion. Miller Moss, 27 of 36, 378, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Efficient. Nussmeier, 29 of 38, 304, 2 touchdowns. His 1 interception what came on the final play of the game, so really not something you can really hold against him. It was a Hail Mary situation. It was basically over. LSU still held USC to only 69 yards rushing, 3 yards per carry. Marks had 68 yards. No 100-yard receiver, but they killed us in the receiving game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 guys with at least 45 yards receiving. And then LSU had Lacey with 94. Mason Taylor was 62 yards, 7 catches. Aaron Anderson, 5 catches, 64 yards. CJ Daniels only 3 for 19. Xavier Thomas 2 for 23. Pimpton had a 1 catch, 14 yards. Emery had 1 catch, 10 yards. And Kyle Parker, who was supposed to come in for Chris Hilton, just had 1 catch for 6. USC were 4 for 5 in the red zone. LSU had 7 TFLs. 7. 2 sacks, forced 2 fumbles, couldn't recover one of them. Couldn't get a turnover. 0 turnovers. Had 6 more minutes of time possession. .5 yards per rush from LSU. 10.5 per completion. 6.6 per play. Ran 4 more plays. Where LSU lose this game is 10 penalties, giving up 99 yards, an entire football field. We just gave up an entire football field in penalties. Oh my God, that's how you lose a game. Everybody, if we don't get any interaction in a bit, we're gonna have to shut this down because no point in me talking to the wall. I need your guys' feedback. I want to know what's going on in your head where you're seeing this team. Is this fixable? We'll see. Anyway, we'll get to writing our article since we're not getting any feedback from any of you guys. Any comments? So many of you watching, nobody talking. And I get it. LSU lose their fifth straight opener. Third consecutive under Brian Kelly, fall 27-20 in a close loss to USC. Offense was wasteful. Defense could not stop the passing game. Penalties, gave up an entire 100 yards of field. Special teams return coverage was terrible. You add that up, and that makes the difference in a game when you can't finish in the red zone. You give up points and possessions. Where do LSU go from here? That is the question I ask you. Where do LSU go from here?